I'm Yuri.
I'm Jacob.
And we are RCF going for a drive. '21 Lexus RCF
Track Edition with the weirdest launch control that we've experienced.
Okay, rev to 1.5, I think.
That was good.
Yes, it's staying up.
Sick burnout, Yuri.
It said launch, horsepower and torque.
472 horsepower, 395 pound-feet of torque from a naturally aspirated 5-liter V8.
Downshift and
Pinging it off the limiter.
carbon ceramic brakes.
Ooh.
And we're at Toronto Motorsport Park Cayuga to do a few launches and laps.
Okay, Yuri. Are you gonna drift this or are you gonna try and manhandle this?
I'm gonna go fast.
Okay.
But it kind of drifts anyways.
It really wants to step out all the time.
Man, for a rear-wheel drive track car, this thing is so fun. It's very challenging, but when you get it right, it's so rewarding.
Yeah, this does feel like a heavy car, but it is definitely fun to drive.
But drift requires pretty full commit.
Yeah, you have committed because it's hard because you have to fully commit. Because if you go half commit, it'll kind of understeer mid-corner and then you gotta catch it again.
I think that was that weird traction light thing that came on. Let me try it again at that cleach slide corner.
Okay, so now we're gonna go for a little bit of drifty drift. A lot bit of drifty drift.
Like a hot knife through butter. And I feel like there's like no fade at all from this like track package. A little sloppy on the exit.
This is hurting my neck.
Okay, and then we just gotta go through cleach slide corner and then we're gonna go back on the road and talk about this whole car. Edge to edge.
All right, leave me some tire.
Yeah. Okay, so what is the RCF Track Edition? We've driven an RC350 F Sport before, but this is something completely different.
Before I explain that, I'm just gonna put this into normal mode because I cannot stand the suspension on the roads.
Really, you don't like it?
Oh, it's so stiff.
I guess maybe I think I have a higher tolerance for stiff suspension.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, with suspension, you can set it so stiff and you could be all badass, but the thing is, you're not actually putting power down because it's so stiff that the wheels are bouncing all over the place. So it's actually better and you put more power down to put some cars into comfort and lighter modes.
But in the argument for badassness, if you put it into individual mode, you don't get the Sport S Plus tag.
Correct, but the individual mode saves this car because you can have the power and then you can also have the comfort.
Okay, but I have been just as happy in the Sport S Plus mode, but I am a little not as in tune with suspension stiffness and settings as you are.
Yeah, we could just replay me bouncing like this on the track because that's all I felt.
and lateral G-forces.
Yeah. Okay, so the car. So this is the track package on top of the RCF. It's a very expensive option. It does give you a bunch of cool things, save some weight. It's meant to be on the track, but you can still definitely daily this as long as you put it into normal because we also have the adaptive suspension. It's really good.
And how many of these are in Canada?
Okay, so I reached out to Lexus Canada. Apparently there are 4 in Canada for 2021 and 2 of them have already been sold, so there's only 2 left.
I would highly recommend if you got money and you like Lexus, get one of this because this is actually one of my favorite cars of the year already.
The thing is, it's a lot of money, and I don't know if the value is there. However, I think Lexus makes some of the best used cars on the market because this is going to be so desirable in like 5 years when everyone's not comparing it to like an M3 and an M4 and they just want a reliable car that's also quick and cool. This is that.
But we did compare it to an M3 manual because that's what we have this week. We did have an M4 automatic earlier, but we did a drag race and stuff. This is kind of a tiny bit slower, but almost the same speed.
Yeah, their horsepowers are basically the same. It's very comparable, so definitely watch that comparison video.
And if it's not out yet, maybe subscribe so you see it when it does come out.
Bro, that video's out first.
Well, maybe subscribe anyways.
Subscribe anyways.
So can I talk about the looks?
Go for it.
This thing looks like an RCF.
Okay, before you get to all the looks, I just want to explain what the track package does because it also is part of the looks.
Okay.
So we have a carbon fiber hood.
Yeah.
We have a carbon fiber roof.
And it looks very carbon fiber.
We have a carbon fiber wing.
With a carbon fiber F in a different pattern in it.
That gets triple extra bonus points because that's actually in the weave. We also have a carbon fiber lip kit all the way around this car. And then we also have carbon ceramic brakes.
Yeah, but the calipers are still red. It just says it like, I wish they picked a different color like I guess almost every other manufacturer does for the calipers. calipers.
I get that. And then we also have these BBS wheels, which look amazing.
And that's pretty much it with the looks for the track package?
Looks-wise, yes, but we do get some other stuff, which we'll get to in a second.
Like the diff?
Yes, and the exhaust and stuff.
Okay, looks-wise, that wing sticks out like a sore thumb. I love it. It is so cool. It is fixed. You can adjust it, but it makes this thing look completely different. And that carbon fiber hood and roof pop so hard. The front end has the newer style Lexus headlights, so they're all kind of integrated, not like the old RC 350F Sport that we drove way long time ago.
Yeah, this looks better than that, and I think the IS of this generation actually looks better than the RC of this generation in the front.
And then from the side, we've got really big fender flares everywhere. The body lines go in and out. They did an amazing job, and we have this in a dark gray, which makes the carbon fiber not pop out as much, but you can get it in a white, which makes it look very like tuner car.
Well, I wouldn't say you can get it. It depends how somebody already spec'd the 4 models that came to Canada.
And then Donut Media did an awesome video last year where they had a matte one. If I was to spec one of these out, I would go matte, no question.
You could just get a matte wrap over top of this gray, like a matte clear.
And then these wheels, don't they kind of feel a little small? Like the shape is just a little smaller than you think they should be?
I feel like they're one size down from where they should be just because the body kit and everything is so big, and the fact that this has like a shiny lip, that makes the wheels also look a little smaller.
Yeah, I feel like we're spoiled from the fitment of the RS6 Avant. Watch that review with the E63S wagon. But what would be the Continental recommended tire for the RCF Track Edition?
The Extreme Contact Sport.
And then how about our exhaust tips?
Okay, so they are real, first of all, so let's get that out of the way. Shout out Lexus for doing that, because I had an ISF. They were not exactly real at the time, so they have made them real in the RCF generation. However,
but for the year of your ISF, that was pretty cool. But this is like what it should be.
And these are titanium for weight savings as well. I don't really know if it changes the sound too much, so let's take a listen to the outside.
So there is a crossover to around 5,000 RPM where it makes it a little bit louder.
I think it's around 3,500, but go for it. Didn't hear it that time.
Okay, well you can hear it when it's parked and you rev. So we just heard that from the exhaust from the outside. Overall looks wise, do you think this looks better than a new M4 in green?
Yes, because the M4 is disgusting, and I mean, they both have the same size grills almost at this point, but this definitely looks better.
I think this looks better. I'm so much more excited to see this like in my driveway and everything. But if there was a M4 GTS version of this gen like there was the last gen, I think that would out coolness this, or at least equal coolness this.
I think it would equal it, but at the same time, we got a 5-liter naturally aspirated V8. That's also bonus points for this.
And it does sound kind of pumped in. I think you said that's like an intake or something?
Yeah, so there is a secondary intake opening, but it is kind of pumped in as well. So there's a lot going on with the sound, and I think it sounds really good from inside the cabin.
It's not bad, and we couldn't find any switch to like adjust it like we did in that IS 350,
yeah,
which totally sucked at Cayuga.
Yeah,
and
all-wheel drive.
This is what those cars should be.
Yes, rear-wheel drive, 8-speed auto.
Like this is next level nice. And then looks-wise, this compared to that last C63S we drove.
Ooh, man, that's tough.
This is better. It's got the wing.
Yeah.
Maybe that was a black edition or whatever, black series.
Exactly, but that's so classy in comparison to this.
And then this against a Mach 1 Mustang, which we have a review of coming out.
Ooh, I don't know. Maybe that's already out too. But I think this still looks kind of crazier.
This is my jam. I did not like Lexuses until the LC500 and this car.
The LC500 still, for me, compared to this car, I think I would still go LC500.
This or GSF?
Ooh, I really like the GSF. I feel like the GSF is more predictable to drive to drift. And it's a little bit bigger. Oh, I mean this.
Ah, okay.
Looks-wise.
Me too. All right, with all that looks-wise stuff out of the way, time to get you behind the wheel, some launches, some sliding, some fastness, and then we're gonna talk about the interior and I guess a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, and I'll start by explaining this weird launch control. To get into launch control, you have to be in drive, you have to be in Sport Plus, you have to press or hold the traction. I'm going to hold it this time because Yuri didn't last time, which put him into expert mode. I'm going to leave it off. Then I press the launch control button. Now it says launch. But if you press it too hard, you just do a burnout.
Like the braking gas.
Yes, so I'm going to try and feather this. I'm going to do my best and we'll see what happens. Okay, here we go. I'm still in drive, but it's pinging off, so that's launch.
Well, no, because the launch went away while driving.
Man, there's so many weird things going on.
We don't know what's going on in this. It's a bad launch control. Just don't worry about it. You're going to peel out, have fun.
But if you can get a good one, you can do 0 to 60 in about 4 seconds.
How is it through turn 1?
Okay, turn 1, it feels totally fine. I'm not pushing it too hard yet, but I will push it in the next corner.
Do you want to change your drive mode?
No, I definitely don't. I'm gonna leave it into Sport Plus just for now, just to see what happens.
Even the suspension?
I'm just scared it's gonna change my traction. I don't trust it. Okay, so let's see. Oh, it's so stiff.
Yeah,
it really is. Okay, let's see a little bit of fun drifty drift and yep. It's so hard to get like controllable exits with this car, but it's so easy to initiate the drift.
But when you get a good one, it's so rewarding. And even when you're trying to go fast, you accidentally drift and correct yourself. It's so fun.
Yeah, it is really, really fun. But I mean, at a track day, you don't want to be doing what I'm doing right now. Yeah, that was pretty smooth.
But look, there's some footage of me chasing you down in this M3, and I was in this car, and you see I come through, skid a little bit, but still keep going straight fast.
Yeah.
And it's fun for that.
Yeah, for sure.
It's definitely not easy.
No, it's definitely not easy, which, I mean, that is part of the fun. Okay, clear slide corner. Let's get a nice one here. Perfect. Nailed it. All right. Should we do some more?
Just get on the road.
All right. Save some tires for the rest of this video.
So it is fast through the corners though.
Yeah, it is pretty fast, but it just wants to slide all the time. We do not have the torque vectoring differential. We have a regular limited slip differential, which was part of the design because they wanted it to have a more mechanical, predictable feeling, which it really does have.
Oh yeah, it's 10 out of 10 predictability, but also...
Well, I wouldn't say 10 out of 10, because...
It's predictably going to be difficult to control.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like...
Yeah, because mid-corner, it just wants to understeer. You can catch it, but you have to be aware of that, and then that's when you have to do that full commit.
It's probably like one of the most fun cars though.
Well,
to take on track.
It's definitely fun. I wouldn't say the most fun. I would say it's fun because of the challenge, but
okay,
most fun. I would have more fun easier in the M3.
Okay, but other cars we've driven on track, like the GT2 RS, the GT3.
Mental.
But that wasn't like we couldn't push it to the limit. This we could.
Yes.
Civic Type R and stuff, we were going like pretty fast, but front wheel drive just isn't the same with the Veloster N.
Right, but this car would be hard to drive fast because you're always sliding.
Yeah, but that's why you have to get better. It's
yeah.
Cool. It's very cool.
You do have to have a lot of throttle control. You can't just be like a total animal with this. Like, you can't just pin it out of every corner. You got to have a little bit of patience and stuff.
A little bit.
Yeah, well, if you don't want to slide.
Okay, well, what do you want to talk about next?
Okay, so we got the handling out of the way. The one thing that I did notice is that the steering is actually quite heavy. It's fine, but it's definitely heavy, so I'm just going to put myself back into normal mode.
It feels good to me. It's got
custom mode.
It's got that 370Z, the M2CS kind of vibe, where I feel like this is me, I'm connected to the car.
I would say closer to 350, 370Z.
I just feel connected to the car from the moment I got in here. The moment I sat in these comfy seats, it was like, this is me.
See, and I feel like I'm more connected to the LC500, the GSF, and my old ISF than I am to this particular car for some reason. Like, this kind of feels like it's doing a lot of weird things, and I have to figure out what it's doing, whereas those cars, I could easily figure it out and the car kind of helped me. Yeah. This, I'm working against the car.
So like the LC500 launch control, super easy. This automatically shifts you from first to second, even if you have traction control all the way off.
Yeah.
And then it'll ping off the limiter second to third, but it's not like that same cool fun one as the LC500, but this revs out like super far, like 7,500 RPM, I think.
Let's downshift this 8-speed and get it into the right. Holy, still downshifting. Okay, here we go. That sounds good.
Yeah, that's pretty high revving. It sounds great in here. It sounds great from the outside. It's like really punchy.
Yes. So let's get into what you said earlier about the transmission. So flooring it when you're just cruising. I'm in normal. My traction's now on. I'm just gonna floor it. It seems to be downshifting today for some reason. It's getting into the right gear.
Yeah, sometimes on the highway we've caught it. You floored it, it's like it downshifts first and then downshifts again.
Yeah, so
and giving it self-throttle. It's kind of weird.
While we can't do it right now, we've definitely both had that experience on the highway, daily driving this for a week.
Yeah, but I don't mind it.
It definitely makes the car feel old. I mean, the whole car has a very old school vibe.
But this is one of those cars that makes me want to drive with the paddles, unlike the RS6 and unlike pretty much everything from that IS350 all-wheel drive F-Sport, which I hated.
100%. So let's get into these drive modes because they also change your gauge cluster. So we have Eco, Normal, Custom, and then we also have Sport and Sport S+. I actually like Sport because of the gauge cluster, but then I want to be in Sport S+, but then I also want to be in Custom because I like the softer suspension.
Sport S+, deal with the suspension for the cool gauges. Eco gauges are weird. Like, yeah. I'm trying to save fuel. I'm like, I really don't like these gauges aren't worth the fuel savings to me.
But the coolest gauge is how small the speedometer is.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, because this looks like a watch to me almost.
It's like we have to put it there, but you got a digital one. It's just tack, gear, speedo. It's perfect layout.
And unlike the IS, this gauge cluster doesn't actually move to the side.
Weight savings?
Okay, maybe. So this does have some weight savings. It actually saves 176 pounds over the regular RCF, and they do that by giving you the titanium exhaust and kind of funny things in here, like deleting the heated and cooled seats.
It's got a wing and it says track in the name of the car, so it is race car.
Yeah, I mean, I would like some heated and cooled seats, but these seats are so comfortable.
Like, this is like a very nice clothy, breathable material, and it's red. We got lots of red in here. I love this.
We also have red and black mixed carbon. It looks so cool in the sun.
Yeah, it's got some gray in it too. It looks like they put glossy stuff over an old lawn chair. You know those fold-out ones?
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
But yeah, this is 10 out of 10 for ingenuity for carbon fiber stuff.
Yeah,
Lexus just kills interior panels.
Yeah, I mean, my old ISF also had this whitish, silverish carbon fiber.
The visors?
Yeah, let's check the visors.
Toyotas usually fail, but this is a Lexus. 3, 2, 1.
Yes, good job.
Okay, that's awesome. And then cup holders, perfectly fine. We've got a touchpad thing to control the infotainment. It hasn't been updated like some of the newer ones where they like tack it forward.
Because this is not a touchscreen. And Yuri, how much has this been bothering you?
Zero, because this car's so sick.
Exactly. You just end up drifting, sliding. Who cares about the infotainment? But we also have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay in here, so that saves the infotainment anyways. And then we have a bunch of hard buttons for the climate. Everything is really comfortable to get to. You kind of rest your palm on the shifter and just kind of press the buttons.
Yeah, it's okay, but this car makes up for everything that's weird about it and like old Lexus stuff that I don't like. We have a clock, that's cool, because luxury.
Yeah, and it's carbon fiber to save weight.
Okay, back seat room. I fit behind myself just at 5'8.5".
And I don't, so I'm not gonna bother.
Yeah, and then other interior things, we actually have red carpeting. How sick is that?
Like the red carpeting is so nice, yeah.
It's so weird. Haven't had red carpeting since that Buick.
Oh my God.
Reverse camera in here, very decent resolution. It makes it not difficult to park at all.
Yeah, but it's like kind of small and stuff. It's not the best. It works.
We have lane keep assist and radar cruise, but it's not like really good lane keep assist, but it's a race car, so the fact that anything is pretty wild.
And the adaptive cruise only goes down to 40 kilometers an hour, so it's kind of useless at the same time.
Yeah, it's like only good on high-speed highway stuff, but whatever.
Yeah.
So we said this is very rare. There's only 4 of them in Canada this year. 2 of them are spoken for. What is the price, and what is the price compared to the non-track edition?
Oh boy. Okay, so the regular RCF starts at $85,000.
Canadian, that seems kind of fair.
Yeah. This one is $120,000.
Okay, so this has carbon ceramic brakes, which are generally $10,000 to $15,000 as an add-on onto cars.
That's right.
And then all the rest of the stuff, it's low edition. I kind of don't mind the price because, like, who cares? They're doing cool stuff, and people are kind of buying it.
Yeah, and even though it's a track edition, it's supposed to be lighter weight. There are some weight savings. It doesn't really feel like that. It still feels like a really big, heavy car. It is a really nice car. It's really cool, but it's a lot of money to get less performance value than a comparable M4 for less.
I think this is a car for Lexus hardcore people. So if you have an LS500, you're probably going to buy one of these for fun to be Lexus gang.
Yeah, or the IS500 or an LFA. This would be like your daily if you had an LFA.
Okay, but then if you wanted this car, but you can't afford it, it's too much money, but you really want it, you're probably never going to get one used. I think you should just wide body a BRZ.
Yeah,
and that's as close as you get.
Just wide body your RCF, like my buddy Paul did. He did one of the first ones when the RCF came out.
Yeah,
that looks so good.
That's his definitely looks better than this.
And it also sounded better because he straight piped the whole thing.
But I think this is probably more good all around for dailying and tracking.
Yeah, and the resale on this will also be better.
And we did draw a lot of comparisons to the M3/M4, so watch our this versus M3 video. Also watch our this versus Mustang Mach 1 video, and let us know what you think of this. Are you mad that you'll never get to drive one or see one, or are you happy that we got to drift it?
And thanks for watching, because we enjoyed drifting the hell out of this thing.